Okay, Sunday. Okay, just came out with a new video. I have been playing hooky from work today. It was awesome. Get my phone rolling here. I went up, poked around the rock, sat up there till about dusk, came back down, and fought hanging a blind for 2 hours. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I've been watching the PG film, like different versions of it. And yes, there are different versions of it out there. um, and there's different colors in the versions. Well, MK has got some close to the original copies of it, and you can tell a whole lot about it. In the versions that I'm watching, and I'll show you what I talk about. I might even pause this video a couple times because I believe he shows it in it. But you can see the flood line. There was a flood in '64, and when trees that aren't used to the water, like say if you got a willow tree or a sycamore tree, something that grows around a lot of water, cypress tree, whatever, the water won't kill them out. But if it floods and you got, say, pines, for example, I've got a couple dead pines down here. I've got one of them that's been dead for a couple years, and it's still got all of its needles on it, and that it flooded. I guess it's been about 3 years ago now. Killed it out. I was trying to do something tonight here too. I've got this night vision deal, but I don't have a video out cable that will hook up to a monitor. Which I've got this old dinosaur TV that's got the video in. I was going to try to do a live thing with it by filming the screen, so I'm going to have to pick up a cable for that tomorrow. Maybe we can get something like that going. We'll see. But here's MK, his latest.
Hey, it's me. I hope I'm not interrupting anything, like maybe the Super Bowl. I'm kind of protesting today in behalf of the Saints. But I like talking about this anytime, Super Bowl or no Super Bowl. It's Patterson film. But having some discussions with different ones about it. This has always been cited as evidence that it was in the fall that they shot this film. Let me just turn it around here. This is on that leader going up to, leading up to the creature. There's Patterson. They don't really know who shot Patterson with the camera. I mean, who...
Okay, he's basically down in the creek bed, and you can see the flood line here. This is from the '64 Christmas flood. So kind of pay attention to this up here. You can see how everything down here is dead. But if you get above the flood line, it's green again.
Who took the film right here because Gimlin denies he did it. But anyway, there you go. These are cited as fall colors. Evidence that it happened in the fall. And he's wearing kind of a little flannel shirt there. And I don't know when this was taken, to be honest with you, because it's got nothing to do with the creature whatsoever. But when you look at higher quality, different copies of the film, and you see exactly what it is. It's dead brush. Killed by the 1964 flood. Now, I don't know what kind this is, but the '64 flood comes to mind because that's what it was so disastrous, they call it like the flood of 1,000 years. Al Hodson told me the bridge down at Highway 96, that humongous, cliff there, all of that was done in one night. during this flood. They had to rebuild the bridge, everything, the whole hill went. Anyway, it left a lot of stuff like flotsam and jetsam. You see it in the Patterson film. But it was also all the other creeks, not just Bluff Creek. But you see, this is not fall colors, it's dead colors. It's a water line. If you've ever, I live in Mississippi, I'm used to seeing water lines. We have high water all too often. But you go back here, yep, that's fall colors, all right. Now, how did these get to be so red? And that could be argued back and forth. And I don't know if I even want to get into it, but I've already shown you where there was red attempts to color the foliage red or tint it red. This was done after Patterson was long gone. So Patterson didn't have a stake in it. It was done at the behest of Rene DeHinden. Remember, he's the guy that Ivan Sanderson said was a 20-year employee of the Canadian Forestry Service. So if he's working for the Canadian Forestry Service, then they likely are calling the shots. Somebody up higher in Canada. That they went through so much trouble to make fall colors appear fall colors. But they didn't do all the copies of the film that way. So it brings to mind, who do you trust? And I say nobody. No, trust the film. They wanted the film to be a cash cow, irregardless. They just didn't want any kind of malfeasance or any kind of questions. They won't feel legitimate questions now. Well, instead, they just try to discredit you for asking it. Or for even implying that it could be something different. But this should make a person want to ask a question. If he sees both of these look quite different. Hey.
Look how the greater it is, even him. Look how much more detail.
You go back, there's still some unanswered questions about it. If you go back to John Green's, he came back 8 months later, or allegedly 8 months later, in the summer of '68, and he shot this reenactment film. And so the areas behind Patty, I'll show you. Take me a minute here, but I can do it. All right. Nice quality tiff. Here it comes. This area right in here. It's basically green. You see it's not tall or anything. Then you go, let me just look up. I think it's going to be in this drive. Let it wake up. Let's see here. If this is colored. It's not too colorful. It's very poor quality here. Let me get a better one. See all of that? How grown up it is? There's one without all the writing. Oh, Jim. What I don't understand when it comes to, let's see here. I could find another picture like that. When you go back to Patty, you see it's hardly any along the hill. And I've got other pictures. I could go back and get them. It's very little. So I don't understand how if he took his picture the following June, all this stuff is grown up, but yet Patterson took it 3 years after the flood, and his isn't grown it up at all. So that's a little puzzling. It kind of, it's like what I said in the beginning. It's you can't trust them. You can't trust the timeline. I mean, that's been demonstrated. The timeline. You know, I went all the way to Eureka and mailed it off. I mailed it off on a Friday, viewed it on a Sunday. All of that, everybody knows that's not possible. So when you can't trust the timeline, you can't trust what people are telling you, well, then you have to say, well, the film was already in the can on October the 20th. This is not October stuff. Where do you see anything red? This right here was not supposed to even be, this is Miss Patterson's copy. She had it in a shoebox. They'd have freaked out if they thought she had this. Look at that. All that is supposed to everything be like this. This is right before they filmed The Creature. Allegedly. We can go over here. Watch it. Let's watch it a little bit. There's the creature. We don't even know if this part, look how broad she is across there. We don't even know if this part for sure has a connection to the second part. I mean, other than it being a Sasquatch on Bluff Creek, timeline-wise. And if it does have the connection, which one came first? You can put it in any order you want.
I want to say, pay attention to the background here too. This is supposedly the first walk sequence, and this is supposedly the part with the creature in it. Is not edited either. But look at the background here. Now watch this second part. Totally different background.
You see any bright red stuff there? I don't see any. Even on this old copy. So you have bright red stuff walking in there, but you don't have any bright red stuff there with Patty. All you see is dead stuff on the side of the hill up to a point. Look at all the flotsam and jetsam there, all the stuff that the flood piled up there. It's everywhere. I can't get it to stop on a good clear frame. There we go again. There she goes. There she goes. It's just, there's so many questions. And like I said, you may not ever get all your answers. But one thing that you can determine for sure is that the answers you get from the people that were there are not totally honest. Where's all the red stuff there? It's just the dead stuff, not the red stuff. Maybe every once in a while you see something. But the clearer the frame, clearer the film is, the better quality the copy. Then you don't see that. So you go back over here. Look at that. Maybe you could just get a little bit of ink that's kind of cut down, with thinner, and kind of daub it a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. I don't do that kind of thing, but I know it ain't the same as this right here.
How green it is up here.
Look at all that greenery right there when it gets kind of up above the water line. Well, you know what? It don't hurt to ask questions. They should be able to feel the questions to an extent. If they don't know, say, I don't know. If they think it's a funny question, laugh at it. Don't get angry. That don't look good. I've been down there. I didn't go in December. You'll get trapped in there and get snowed in. I've been there up to late October. And, it gets kind of warm during the day and cold at night in October. But you go back on up. I've been there in June, and it was pretty cool at night. You're looking at, I think you're in the 2,000 feet area of altitude there in the creek, and you have to go on up as high as 4,000 to get down in the creek. So there you go. all them fall colors just kind of go dead on you when you move over to this other copy. That's not only, this is not a different color because it's a better copy. It's a different color because it's a different copy. This is a copy that's been, kept away from contamination. But there again, we don't know what kind of connection this has to the film at all, because you can attach anything you want to the beginning and ending of a film. The part with the creature is very short. Let's see if I can find it again. There we go. Look at all that red. I see the dead. Anybody know what kind of tree that is? That's a fir tree, and that is a fir tree. It just died. That's a fir. Those old dead brown needles. Well, there's nothing wrong with asking questions. So ask questions. Ask me questions. You don't have to accept my word for it. I try my best to show images for everything. And the problem is a long-standing, all-encompassing problem, and it may need adjustment. But basically, it's correct. And so, I just got the news about the Super Bowl. Did you see anything in the news clips of New Orleans? They had a big party down there and showed the 2010 Super Bowl at all the bars. Well, M.A. Causey next year, hopefully. I don't know what you do about bad calls or no calls. I really, lost faith in the NFL because they seemed unconcerned about it. And they say that they would not do anything to help the situation. So, what do you say? If you don't watch, you have a little control, albeit small. Okay, now back with the Patterson film. That if you see that the film has problems, you can demand answers. You can demand solutions. You are the viewer. And without you, this film means nothing. Without large numbers of people, the film has enjoyed a renaissance, but largely because of work I did when I started on this. Nobody was using this film. Hardly. And it wasn't getting the money that they're asking for it now either. The film has gained in value and credibility, as it should. It should have never lost any of it. Mishandling of the film. Failure to answer legitimate questions destroys people's confidence in it. And then when you go after the person and try to discredit the person that asked the question, it looks bad. Those are bad optics. Don't do that. you can just say, I cannot talk about it. That's good enough. When you open up with a fake story, well, we left this place that's 25 miles from the nearest paved road. We rode out, went all the way to Eureka. We took the film at 1:30 in the afternoon. We rode all the way to Eureka, to the Eureka airport, sent it off, and came back in time to cover up the tracks and make some plaster casts. And then 2 days later, we showed the film. Code of Color 2. Only 2 places in the United States processed it. They had a 2-week minimum turnaround. I'd say that was a mistake. Already in the can. Already processed. Already snipped and nipped and put together and probably de-sounded, de-audioed. But not because of a hoax. That's the strangest part about it. This isn't a classic case of a hoax. It's a classic case of something else altogether. Legitimate Sasquatch. A film of one. They do exist. These 2 guys know it for sure. John Green knew it for sure. Rene DeHenden knew it for sure. Ivan Marks knew it for sure. J.C. Buttram knew it for sure. Dale Moffat knew it for sure. Jim McLaren knows it for sure. And there's more. So, that's all I have to say. I hope that your team won. And you can have a good party. See y'all.
All right. Not really sure what he's talking about on New Orleans. Maybe some of y'all do. But someone said that this conversation has divided the community, something like that. I can't remember. It was up in the chat a while ago. But no, it doesn't make me want to divide from anybody out there. I mean, people can disagree or whatever, but you have to question it, right? You have to question the shadows. You have to question why they would put out an altered film. You have to question if they took this on October the 20th, 25 miles from a paved road, riding on horseback, 25 miles each way, whatever. You send the film out on an aircraft to get it processed, which there's only 2 places in America that done it at the time, and then you're showing the film 2 days later. I mean, does that sound right? Don't you know? And I guess the film company said, what, 2 weeks? Yeah, Gordon saying 2 weeks that it would take them to process it. Yet they did this in 2 days, plus all the alterations of the film. Why does the other copies show dead leaves, while the ones that they showed publicly show red leaves? So something's, I don't know exactly what happened here. There's a theory out there. I don't know if that's right or not, but something's not right. They're covering up something. Why else lie about the time of year it was took? Why put artificial colors to make it look like it was took in the fall. I mean, you've seen the two copies there, the close to the original and the public consumption. The like he was talking about, you could put anything before it whenever they're riding around or whatever. That could be took anytime and edited in there. And then you get down to the creek bed, you can see in where the flood had come up, the flood water had come up so high, and they had a 1,000-year flood in '64. It's called the Christmas Day flood. And I can go out right now and show you leaves on some of these beech trees and some of the oak trees and definitely some of these pine trees where it flooded here or where the logging was done and some trees were killed or cut down. They still got the leaves on them. But the dead tree will hold leaves for a long time. So something's not right. And the walk sequence, I mean, is the first walk sequence, did that actually happen first? And if so, whenever she was walking away, she was going to the wood line. What would possess her to not go into the wood line, but walk on down the creek bed in front of everybody, you know? So, yeah, Pam sent me some links on the Iceman. I still haven't looked into all that yet. I've been doing a few other things, fighting with a stupid blind that took 2 hours to hang, and I finished framing out a window. But the walk sequence, I mean, that was just odd behavior. Did she come back a couple times, 2 or 3 times? I mean, who knows? Uh, that's it. The whole part of the film with the creature in it, with Patty in it. Whenever they release this, they say that is all unedited, and there's definitely an edit there. You seen after what they're calling the first walk sequence, it cuts away from her. This is supposedly he fell down or did whatever, and he comes back up and starts filming again. Well, the background's just totally different, and this happened within a second. The background is totally different. I mean, go back and watch the film. Put it in slow motion and watch it. There is definitely an edit there, and the background is totally different. Then they add in the red. They try to crop things out of the film. They try to hide stuff, manipulate the copies. It's just they're hiding something for sure. What it is, I don't know. But anybody can tell a story and make the story sound however they want. They can stick to the story. After so many years, that story becomes their fact. That story becomes their memory. But this is video evidence. This is you watching a video, and you can see what's going on. And then you add into that better frames of the video that shows even more. And then you got to question why they would put out such a bad version of it. It's just something's being covered up for sure. What it is was a family of Sasquatch massacred. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. There's things in there like the leg bulge or falling down, stuff like that. You can't say for sure that she was shot or anything like that. It doesn't show good enough evidence to say that. And the more I look into it, I mean, the deeper this rabbit hole gets. I mean, I've been looking at this for about a month now, and it's absolutely crazy. It goes every which way. And the guy that I think is doing his best to cover, did his best to cover this up, is that Renee DeHinton. I mean, he just don't sound like a very good character. I've heard that he's threatened up to 20 people, and being backed by the Canadian government, basically. So he's answering to somebody. He works for the forestry department, for the lumber company. That's big money, big money. So what would they do if a species of unknown primate was discovered? They would shut all that down. They would lose a lot of money. So I don't know. I suggest you go back and you watch the film and you question it. Okay, I mean you can listen to the story that was given to the public about two cowboys happening upon a Sasquatch that just took a leisurely stroll down the creek in the fall. That's their story, and that's one that they've stuck to. It. There's been a few things that have kind of changed, but for the most part, they've stuck to it, and the film does not show that. And I'm just looking for the truth, like in all aspects of life, and just looking. This is our best video evidence of a Bigfoot, but the story behind it is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I will, Pam. I'll definitely read it. I'll probably read it after I get off of this. I might do a video about it, but uh, it's just crazy. And I don't know. I don't understand why people are getting so mad for questions being asked. If they didn't want the questions, the film should have never been released. All right, it's just like anybody else. I'm not trying to troll anybody. I'm just asking questions. And people ask questions of me all the time. Most of the time, I say I don't know because I don't know. I don't know what they are. All right, I don't know what their habits are, where they go, what they're doing in the wintertime when they're not here. I mean, I've got some theories, but it's basically theories. And I've shared what I thought. Yeah, you're right, Gordon. That's how the story goes. And like I said, MK's been looking at this for years and years, and I could see what could possess a man to look into this and to try to find answers for this. And he's talked to a lot of people that were associated with this very story. Like the timeline, as I'm understanding it now, is the Hendon Green, the wet team we'll call them, came down, and with the tracking dog, uh, they say they lose the tracks. They fly back up to Canada. The old man that told the story, Al Hodgins, calls Patterson. Patterson comes up the next day. Well, he calls the other people back and tells them that what you're looking for is back. It's here. So they fly back down within that day. So you got two different parties, Patterson and Gimlin and the wet team, and they kind of converge on this area basically around the same time. Definitely during the same day, I'm thinking now. And what happened happened. So there might have been something that happened the day before with the wet team down there. Still not really clear about that. Or if the massacre theory is true, then the wet team was down there doing their work whenever P&G rode in on them. All right, Pam. I'll definitely look at it. I mean, I've been really busy this weekend. It was nice out, so I'm not going to sit in front of a computer whenever it's 65 degrees out in the beginning of February, especially after it's been 0 degrees. I got a lot accomplished this weekend, including putting out fires. But anyway, I guess that's all I've got for now. But I encourage everyone to go back and look at the film and just question it. Okay, keep in mind the story, then look at the film and really watch the film. Look at like I said, there's different versions of it out there. Go back and look at a couple versions. There's a few of them out on the interweb. Pay attention to the shadows. Realize that short shadows, only happen in the summertime here in the northern hemisphere. Uh, that's whenever the sun go out this summer and look. The sun is directly overhead of you. The closer to the summer solstice, the higher in the sky the sun is. You can have long shadows any time of the year. Right now, you're going to have long shadows because the sun is in the southern hemisphere. That's why they've got summer down there on the bottom of the world where Matt lives at. They're upside down. Yeah, Pam, if you want to, try to put a link in the chat now, or a link after this video's done, or whatever. If you've got a wrench, you can put links in there. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna jump off here. Daggum head's all stopping up again. I'm gonna take my medicine and hit the hay. All right. Well, I'll look at the link Pam sent. Maybe try to do a video with you too. But I guess that's it for now. Y'all have a good night and God bless.